Investec is a diversified financial group, primarily active in investment banking, private banking and asset management. It was established in 1974 and operates mostly in the UK, South Africa and Australia. And of course, it is best known for its zebra mascot. The group has a market cap of 37 billion rand and a price to earnings ratio of 13. There has been some negative news around Investec recently. It could be the perfect time to pick up this stock, which has been hammered by the market.
As you can see, the time to pick it up has not dawned yet. It's still moving in that direction. Look, I don't know what to say. I mean, they're lovely guys. 1974, the Cantors, Stephen Kosseff, Boss Cardall, they get the thing together. It looks great. You've got to be totally gorgeous to work at Investec. If you're under the age of 40 and Vestact, then you've got to be good looking. Neither of us would qualify. They've got this international business model a little bit spread out all over the place, and they are at risk. They're not exactly killing it right now.
But it's international sentiment that has hit this. This stock has exposure in markets that are in trouble. Surely this is a sentiment issue, and it really, at the end of the day, it's a robust business. Would you argue that?
This is a business that is plagued by bad decisions. I think for the last 10 years, they have issued a lot of shares. They've bought companies at the top of the cycle.
Come on, Anthony. Hindsight is always a perfect science.
Absolutely.
We can say that about African Bank and Illerins, and hindsight is a perfect science when it comes to acquisitions.
Absolutely. But there's a silver lining in the story. The share is exceptionally cheap. We think that there is at least 40% upside in the share price from this level. Granted, there is some issues around management compensation. It seems excessive relative to their performance. I think that there is still a lot of impairments to come, but the key of this, or the jewel in this business, is the asset management business. And we think that on a sum of the parts valuation, there's probably about 40% upside, target price of 200 Rand a share. So we think that
this must be the hottest stock of the entire discussion point for the last 4 or 5 months. 40% upside, target price of 200 Rand.
Absolutely. Forward PE of 12, 13. ROEs questionable, around about 8%, probably tending up towards 14%. But, we like stocks that are out of favor. Capitec, every man and his dog is in Capitec. Rather be Investec.
Come on, lose your herd mentality.
But disappoint.
Look, every man and his dog might be in Capitec, but only the dogs are in Investec, sadly. I mean, look at the strengths that they have. Clearly, Hendrik du Toit's asset management business is fabulous, and that's got good margins. The private client business, which they've built, which is basically here, but also big assets in the UK, is okay, but the margins are variable there. The banking stuff is fine, but they've taken huge hits in the investment banking and corporate banking
Which
arena.
are more than priced into the stock at current levels, is what Anthony will say. It's more than priced. The bad news, I mean, how much lower can the stock go?
But they continue to take write-offs in the recent results against Kensington, where people thought that was just impossible. How much more pain could they take?
Hang on a minute. They alluded to that.
Everybody said Australia was fine and more losses.
I don't understand why the market was surprised. They came out with the trading update saying that headline earnings per share would be down to the exact extent headline earnings per share were down when they reported 2 months later. I don't see why the market was surprised. Do you see why the market was surprised?
The asset management business manages about R1 trillion in assets under management at the moment. The business is almost infinitely scalable, perfectly scalable. Increase in assets they don't have to increase the cost by 1 cent. And I think really that's the issue, that when markets recover, this company will, the issues around the impairments about Kensington will become secondary.
Look, the thing he's taking heat for now, and I'm talking Stephen Kosseff, is that he gets paid like 40 million Rand in a year when the share price is doing that. The danger is that in the institutional environment, this has become known as a place that it's better to be an employee than it is to be a shareholder. And when you get that kind of negativity around, I'm not quite sure how you're going to.
Is that not as good? You're making a very general statement on Investec. Are you sure that that is what every fund manager out there is saying? I don't think you can speak for all the fund managers.
Look,
you can speak
Henry
for yourself
Hall wrote
and
the
for
brokerage
Vestact
report, and he said, and this is getting lots of playtime.
Henry Hall.
It's been circulated on Bloomberg. It's getting out there, and I'm afraid once this sort of stuff starts to fly around, then there's blood in the water.
It is one analyst's opinion that is circulating.
The question is, how are they going to get that share price down there?
Through their asset management industry business. Are you not listening? And you know how scalable asset management is. That's what you do.
Yeah, but that's what people were saying back then. That's what people were saying back here in 2010, that this one's perfectly poised for the bounce back. But they've done nothing. And if you look at the share price of many of their banking competitors out there with more integrated models, they've actually
You're
seen
taking
back
too much
to the house.
cognizance of Henry Hall. I know he was rated number one, but still. Too much cognizance on that. Come on, how quickly do you think this can turn around? I've got to wait for the markets.
We think that on a 12-month basis, it's worth about 195 Rand a share. 40% upside.
12-month basis, 195 Rand a share. Where are we trading right now?
140.
140.
Look, to get back to those kinds of numbers, they're going to have to pull some serious bunnies out of the hat. They're going to need a following wind in terms of a global market improving, and or they've got to do some kind of a deal. For years, people have speculated about whether a JP Morgan type of player wouldn't come and take them out in order to get their South African footprint and to do the UK thing. I think that's possible. The only problem is people like JP Morgan have got bigger problems of their own right now.
We're about 40 Rand on Investec right now. I want to go back to that target price, 195, hot or not?
We think it's hot.
Very, very, very hot. Paul Theron, hot or not on Investec?
I'm afraid not.